Imagine being so rich, you destroyed an entire country's economy just by passing through. That wasn't fiction. That happened. His name was Mansa Musa. Listen up. While everyone's arguing about who's the richest man alive, they're missing the point. The richest human to ever walk this earth wasn't Bezos, wasn't Rockefeller. It was a 14th century African king they don't teach you about. His name was Mansa Musa, and he had so much gold, he literally broke entire economies just by passing through. Musa wasn't born into ultimate power. He became emperor of Mali in 1312. But here's what separates winners from losers. He understood something fundamental. Money is power. Not potential power, actual power. The Mali Empire controlled the gold and salt trade, and Musa, he monopolized it. The Mali Empire sat on half the world's gold supply. Half. While European kings were begging for scraps, Musa was swimming in it. But he didn't just sit on his wealth like some dragon. That's lesson one. Money is power, but only if you understand how to wield it. In 1324, Musa decided to make his pilgrimage to Mecca. Now, most people would travel light, not Musa. This man understood optics. He knew that reputation is everything. So he assembled a caravan that would make every king on earth jealous. 60,000 people. 12,000 slaves, each carrying 4 pounds of gold bars. Heralds dressed in silk, horses, camels carrying hundreds of pounds of gold. This wasn't a pilgrimage. This was a statement. This was psychological warfare. Picture this, a procession so long you couldn't see the end. While crossing the Sahara, Musa gave gold to every person he met. Every single person. Not because he was generous, though he was pious, but because he understood money is a tool. When he entered Cairo, the entire city stopped. Historians recorded it. The Sultan of Egypt himself came out to greet him. And what did Musa do? He handed out gold like it was pocket change. He gave gifts to officials, scholars, beggars. His men went into the markets and bought everything. Silk, spices, horses, books. They paid whatever price was asked in pure gold. For 3 months, Musa spent so much gold in Cairo that he single-handedly crashed their economy. The value of gold plummeted. Inflation skyrocketed. Bread that cost 1 gold piece now cost 10. Lesson 2. Money moves markets. Musa had so much wealth that his spending literally destabilized an entire region's economy for a decade. Now here's where it gets interesting. Musa realized what he'd done. Most people would panic, not him. On his way back, he borrowed gold from Egyptian moneylenders at high interest rates. Why? To stabilize the market, to restore balance. This is top-level thinking. He understood that destroying an economy wasn't in his long-term interest. He needed these trade routes. So he fixed what he broke. That's mastery. That's understanding money as a tool, not just a weapon. Word spread across 3 continents. European map makers who barely knew Africa existed suddenly put Mali on the map, literally. Maps from 1375 show Musa sitting on a throne, holding a golden nugget. They labeled him the richest king in the world. When Musa reached Mecca, he fulfilled his religious duty. But even there, His wealth was legendary. He donated massively to the poor-funded construction projects and established Mali as a major player on the world stage. On his journey home, something changed in Musa. He'd seen the world. He'd seen civilizations that were intellectually advanced. And he made a decision that would define his legacy beyond wealth. He recruited architects, scholars, poets, and scientists. He promised them wealth beyond imagination if they'd come to Mali. And they came, because money is power, and Musa was offering them resources to pursue knowledge. Back in Mali, Musa commissioned mosques and universities. The Sankor Mosque, the University of Timbuktu. He transformed his empire from a trading kingdom into a center of learning that rivaled any institution in Europe or the Middle East. Timbuktu became legendary. At its peak, it housed hundreds of thousands of manuscripts. Medicine, astronomy, mathematics, poetry. While Europe was burning books, Mali was preserving human knowledge. That's what money as a tool looks like. Students came from across the Islamic world to study there. The University of Timbuktu had 25,000 students at its peak. Musa didn't just accumulate wealth. He invested it in intellectual capital, in human potential. Under Musa's rule, Mali flourished. Cities expanded. Trade routes multiplied. Security was so tight that travelers could cross the empire without fear. When you have resources, you can create order. You can build systems. Here's what most people miss. Musa's pilgrimage wasn't about showing off. It was marketing. It was announcing to the world that Mali was open for business. That if you wanted gold, salt, knowledge, or opportunity, you came to Mali. European kingdoms started sending emissaries. They wanted trade deals. They wanted access to that gold. Musa had leveraged his wealth into geopolitical influence. Money moves markets, and it moves nations. As Musa aged, he focused on succession. He understood something crucial. Wealth without wisdom dies with you. So he educated his heirs. He built institutions that would outlast him. The Mali Empire under Musa became the blueprint for what an African civilization could achieve. Not through conquest alone, but through economic dominance, intellectual investment, and strategic vision. While European peasants lived in mud, Mali's cities had running water systems. While Europe hoarded knowledge in monasteries, Timbuktu made it accessible. Money is power, and Musa wielded it to elevate an entire civilization. Historians estimate Musa's wealth at $400 billion in today's money. But that number misses the point. His real wealth was influence, was legacy, was the transformation of an empire into a superpower. Today, centuries later, we still talk about him. The buildings he commissioned still stand. The manuscripts he preserved still teach us. That's immortality. That's what happens when you use money as a tool for creation, not just consumption. 3 lessons from the Golden King. 1. Money is power. Musa controlled resources and therefore controlled outcomes. 2. Money is a tool. He built universities, not just palaces. 3. Money moves markets. His spending literally reshaped economies. Most people die and are forgotten in a generation. Musa died in 1337, and 700 years later, we're still studying his moves. Why? Because he understood that wealth isn't about having. It's about doing. You want to be remembered? Don't just accumulate. Invest, build, create systems that outlast you. Musa didn't just pass through Cairo. He changed it forever. That's impact. That's legacy. The Golden King proved that one man with resources and vision can reshape the world. Not through force, through economic power, through strategic investment, through understanding that money ultimately is the tool you use to build empires, both physical and intellectual.